there, welcome to my channel. My name is Crystal and this is Books Forever After, where I sit on my floor, we talk about everything and all things books and nothing but the books. And today I'm going to share with you a spring book haul. Alright, so I have quite a bit of a overdue, like everything else in my life right now, overdue book haul to share with you. I'm calling it a spring book haul because it's spring. And I probably just shared a unhaul, and as you know, I am going to be reorganizing, so it's a very long process, like a lot of things with me. And I forget how many I'm unhauling, significant amount of unhaul, and I still have more that I need to do as I notice as I'm going through, because a lot of the books that I'm going to share with you today here as well are replacements for things that I already own, just in a different format, hardcover versus paperback, better copy, etc., whatever the reason may be. And so it's quite a bit, and so it's a mixture, a lot. Half of these are historical romance, like always, and some fantasy romance and contemporary romance and all that jazz, even a middle grade as well, because you know my son is really enjoying reading as well, and he's getting to that age to where we can actually read the same kind of grade level as well, so middle grade or YA, so he's getting there, so that's really exciting. So yes, a lot of these, as a disclaimer, a lot of these I got at library book sales. The spring is a really busy time, especially as well as my birthday, so I know I'll have a different book haul to share with you of everything that I got for my birthday, and then also with the big Ohio Book Con that's going to be coming up. I've gotten quite a bit free for either just recognition points that I get from my work and other things like that. So yeah, or other just reimbursement things. So a lot of these I don't have to pay too much on. Of course, library sales, that's how it's easy for me to make it affordable, and I'm also just privileged to do that. I have still curating my library and things like that, but and that's why I'm also doing an unhaul as well. So I'm always curating that whole thing, and I just give back to my local libraries or just sell the ones that I can. So I will link my Pango profile down below as well, giving you all that context because this is a lot. And I'm definitely trying to do a little bit here, but it's just not working yet. I'm sure we're going to be downshifting a lot lately as well, because it gets a little bit overwhelming because I want to be able to read these. It becomes decision fatigue at a certain point. So the sad thing is, especially during this fall season, I know there's going to be more, going on a tangent here, is a lot of my fantasy romances that I'm looking forward to, or just the sequels or the final book of the trilogy, is just all happening this year for some reason. So I know the latter half of the year is probably just going to be those books that are happening as they happen. Probably about 10 right there. So a lot of these are just library book sales or Pango local businesses as well. So on part of the independent bookstore day, I went and did that. So really a lot of these are mainly happening from March and April. January and February was literally only a few, so a lot of that activity happened then. So yes, all of this is from January to April, and I'm going to try, I kind of have categorized a little bit. I'll focus on the non-historical romance first, but there is a bit of a mixed bag because I usually like to try to categorize it where I got it. And this year I am also keeping track of how much I'm spending too, so we see, interesting, how much I spent during the year as well, because this isn't a part of a building my library year. Stay tuned for that later this year, probably in early January, to see how much. I'm going to start off in January. So I don't have this, this isn't really too tracked, but it kind of is. But yeah, just one second, I gotta grab my thing of my tracker that I'm doing. It's just a notes app in my phone. I've transferred to my tablet, so we're just kind of going through by that. So let's just get started. Gosh, I'm talking way too much. So yeah, let's just share and talk about these books. First two, we only had two. Literally spent $4. It was at a library sale. It is Scarlet by the YAs by Marissa Meyer. This is the next book in the YA series that I own, and I've been collecting these because I enjoy young adult. I'm not reading it as much as more, but I still like to continue to read it and do like a spinner wheel and just like binge a whole series. So I'm trying to collect the series so I can binge them. I think I'm actually going to try to do that this summer too, because I've been slacking. I've just been hold up on another one that I haven't owned yet. So we're just gonna probably pivot and try to do another spin wheel in the YA series. Of course, as well, my kids will read these. They're gonna be big readers as well. So just part of, you know, it's my library, part of it, but it's also going to be something that I will share with my kids to read. This one is, I believe, the Snow White version of this. So I believe this is like a sci-fi futuristic fairy tale retellings. So really excited to usually sometime pick these ones up. And then I picked up this one. This looks like to be the indie copy of The Sword of Kaigen by Emma Wong. This is a high fantasy. I know these got traditionally picked up as well. This is something that I'm trying to break into, is more the high fantasy, where basically there's just or essentially just, I call it like pro fantasy, or just straight fantasy, meaning like there's no romance. I don't know what the term is, because romantasy is such a thing right now, but favorite thing, one of my favorite things, but it's such a weird, marketing isn't the greatest right now, right? That exactly, I'm providing clear definitions and things like that. With that said, this follows where this is a older heroine. She's a mother as well, and she used to be a oh gosh, I think she used to be a hero back in the wartime, and now she's in peace, and I think her son is becoming of age and kind of discovers things. It's not against his assumptions, I believe. This is something that I would like to dig into. It's great to have a copy at home, so I don't have to worry about a certain time frame for that too as well. So that's what's great about the library sales, is I am supported by a local library, but at the same time I can have it part of my library, so I don't be overdue my books or waiting on holds and all that thing. So that's one of the other benefits too as well, is to kind of be able to do that. The other thing is I did a Pango order, and this is a little bit of a mixture of a lot of gothic romances. So if you're new here, gothic romance is like one of my favorite micro genres of historical romances, and just romance in general. Not just gothic, but like gothic romance. Like it's hard to find just that embedded in gothic fiction sometimes, but I'm to try to find some OG ones, some vintage ones, so I can try to read some of these, especially during the fall time. So I'm really excited about that. So I picked up these at Pango. I found someone that was really great, that I kind of told him like, hey, if you have any gothic romances that you come across, like, let me know. And this is one of them where they did, so it was great. One is Mistress of Moontide Manor by Lee Carr. A lot of what's great about these two as well is these are out of print as well, so it's really hard to find these. You're only going to find these at secondhand shops or thrifted online, like thrift books, or I don't want to say Amazon, but probably Book Outlet maybe, I don't know. But like all of these secondhand stores online, I found these ones on Pango, obviously. So yeah, so that's this is actually in relatively very nice condition. It still has the postcard that they came with back in the day, which I just love that. So yeah, we have that. So I'm just super interested in this one. This one is Shadow of the Cat by Monique Hara. This takes place at Castle Doom. There's a Macintosh curse hung over the sprawling, gloomy Scottish castle, so out of place in the southern Ohio wilderness. And that just, obviously I live in Ohio, so that was really cool to see in a blurb. So excited to read this one as well. So this is gonna be, I'm just excited for fall to really dig in these gothic romances. The next one is The Lost Locket of Windbrace Hall. This one has some foiling, and she's wearing an orange dress and a purple cape. It's just a very interesting color combination, but I just love that. Looks really interesting. This one just sounds cool. So the hero found her. Lord Victor Manchester found her all alone in the world and suffering from hunger and exposure. His generous offer of a position seemed like the answer to Juliet's prayers. But Windbrace Hall proved even more inhospitable than the savage moors, for it sheltered an unknown enemy who immediately recognized the locket that Juliet wore and knew the dark secret it concealed. There's a drugged drink, a fall down the stairs, a box of poisoned chocolates. They were the beginning of her terror. Her safe haven had become a prison where she could trust no one, least of all the handsome master of Windbrace Hall himself. So, that just sounds so much fun. So like I said, spooky and everything like that. This was really cool because that's my name in the title. And it's Crystal Shadows by Michelle Y. Thomas. This one's really cool looking. The foiling. It's always the heroine running away on the covers. I just love it. That's usually your big hint. See, this is why covers are so important, to give you insights into what's actually going on into the book. The vibe of the book, the atmosphere, all of that. So yes, love it. So excited for that one. And then I have Love Fire by Julia Grice. This one isn't a gothic romance, but it's an OG pirate romance. It probably has a lot of some questionable subject material, but it sounds interesting. And it's taking place, it has Ireland, the Caribbean, and then New Orleans. So interesting for that one. So it's called Love Fire by Julia Grice. Definitely an oldie. I think this one's gotta be in the 70s. And I'm pretty sure it's signed, so that's also what's really kind of cool. Is it signed? And then, yeah, October 1977. So this is definitely an oldie for that one. Then I have a Barnes & Noble pickup that I did. One of them that I showed in my unhaul. It was one of the Forged by Malice by Elizabeth Helen. That's going to be unhauled because I read it and don't necessarily need a copy to complete that series. It's not absolute love. But this one I am keeping, and it's probably going to be one of my top favorites of the year. It's Air of Illusion by Madeline Taylor. This is your romantasy, but not exactly what you expect. It's all the tropes that you know and love, but used very uniquely, which I just love. He's a shadow. He has shadow powers. She's also kind of like enslaved with this, the king or whatever. She's having to be like an assassin, that kind of a thing. But he makes her wear this jeweled necklace that's kind of like a color kind of necklace. It's just so good. Gods and things like that. These airs have these gods' powers. That's why you hear Air of Illusion. So this is the only one that like no one knows who's the Air of Illusion. And things just go from there. It was just so good. Oh my gosh. I can't wait for the second book. I think it's supposed to be getting released this year, I think. Later this year. I don't know. But yeah, this is definitely a debut author as well. She's already right up there for auto by author. Like, she's just amazing. This was just amazing. Even better than the Kissed by the Gods that I read with the... Because before that I read Kissed by the Gods with April for our Mood Reader book club. That was good too, but this one I just loved even more, and it's just so unique. And this is what I'm talking about. It's just not the same wash repeat part of the tropes. It's using the tropes to make something completely different and unique, and just a slight spin. So just really enjoyed this so much. Another Pango order here, historical romances here. So we had about 6 here, and most of these are the Native American romances. That is something that I read a few way back in the day. I just really enjoyed, and I want to get back into it. Just really unique and interesting. This one is Moon Dancer by Judith E. French. It kind of wraps around for that. The other one is Love Storm by Judith French. This one's more, looks like a pirate one, in Virginia. And then this one is really interesting. Oh, another one too is a Moon Feather by Judith E. French. I believe her daughter is also writing as well. I can't remember her name, but it's the mom, I think, is the Judith E. French. So really interesting for that one. And then, yes, I don't know. I thought I had another one by this author, but I don't see it. I think I may have shared it before, maybe. I'm not sure. But this one is an Owned Voices one as well. This author's an Owned Voice, which is Karen Kay. This is Lakota Princess. And I don't know if these are all the same series. But then this is Proud Wolf's Woman. So yes, this author's an Owned Voice. So really interesting for that one. And then Call Home the Heart by Rebecca George. This looks like to be a at-sea or pirate romance as well. Oh yeah, this one has like a second chance as well. So I think that's what really spoke to me, and the premise is a second chance. So looks really interesting. It also has a little bit of wraparound there as well. And you can pause here if you want to read the blurb. Next, I have 4 books that I went to a library book sale and I had picked up at another time. This one is basically brand new. That's what I like about this one that I go to. I believe this is YA, but I'm not sure. But I think it's just fantasy. A Winter's Promise by Christelle Dabo. I know this is originally French, so this was translated into English. So, A Winter's Promise, this is book 1, so interesting in trying this one out. Is that Ophelia possesses 2 special gifts, a talent for seeing into an object's past and the ability to travel through mirrors. I think this has like an arranged marriage kind of thing that happens from my understanding, but yeah, interested in reading this one. Found a couple indie versions as well, which was really cool. A Ruin of Roses by K.F. Brain. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling from my understanding. So, and then I also had Fortuna Sworn by K.J. Sutton. So I thought that was a really cool find as well at the library. It's so very rare to find indie published romances or indie published anything really there, obviously. Then the next one is a YA fantasy, which is Fury Born by Claire Legrand. This is the Empyrean trilogy. I know my sister read this series, I believe, so I think she really enjoyed it. So looking to try this one as well. And then one of my most anticipated ones that I had pre-ordered by Pam Godwin, her next installment. I think it's basically like a sister or a spin-off to the Frozen Fate series, which is The Rise of Ink and Smoke. I had purchased this one from the local bookshop there that she had partnered with. It's the Under the Cover romance bookshop in Missouri. So I ordered online, they shipped it to me. This came with some vellum pages that are NSFW extremely. So it's really cool. I'm going to be able to put those in there. This one I can kind of share. It's not too spicy. The other one's really spicy. Definitely want to read this one because it's, I think, in a cold setting. I'm definitely probably going to read this later in the year, but I definitely will be reading this one. I think I'm actually going to read the Deliver series, or at least the first 3 in Deliver series first, probably over the summer. And then, but yeah, cool. And then it came with some stickers and things like that. Most anticipated. This one is one of those that I have to stop myself. Like, I don't want to read it just yet. So I want to be in the right headspace to read this one, especially for anything of Pam Godwin. She is a very dark romance author, and you really need to be in a good headspace for it because, yes, a lot of trigger warnings and things like that. Next one is a couple, I try not to order in there, but I did order from Amazon some, because certain books that I just can't, I can't buy anywhere else for, like, really Gianna. This was on sale. This one is her fairy tale series, or My Dark Fairy Tale series, I forget what it's called, but it's book 1 and 2, My Dark Fairy Tale, and then it's My Dark Ever After. And then as soon as I got these, I immediately read these and binged them. Mafia romance, set in Italy. Really, really fun time. Really enjoyed it. I'm going through the ones I read of hers, just going through and reading them, purchasing them as I can, and I wanted to read them because she's like a favorite author. I've been really missing reading some of her books, but this is an author that I just love, and I just really want to have her on my shelf, and I will reread hers as well because that's what I'm doing with her other series. So I'm trying to order from the website and such. It's just, or from Amazon, wherever I can, if she does. I know she's recently got a baby as well, but if she ever does like ship from her own website from her, I would order directly from her if I can. Just love that author, and I really need to read her whole entire backlist. I'm a bit behind. I read most. I want to say at least almost half, but I really do need to continue. So I think, yes. So I have a whole bunch here that's from a library sale. I have a little mini tote here from a library sale. So around this time, I was starting to do planning the Ever After-a-thon. So, and it's also all the spring sales that were happening as I make a broken record. So I have quite a bit to share here. I'll do the non-historical romance first. These ones I just picked it up on a different one, but it's book 1 and 2. These ones look like a really fun time. They're like probably only 25 cents. That's how much these were. So it's the Sorcery Trial and the Elemental Trial. These looks to be like a paranormal romances held at like an academy sort of thing with trials and things like that. I think like actually it's fairy. I don't remember. Yeah, it's fae. So yeah, excited to try that one. They seem like to be like spicy romances ones as well. So I mean, fun good time, why not? Try that out. The next one is like another fae fantasy romance that looks also to be an indie published book. It's called Tangled in Fae by Evelyn Crow, and it looks to be fairly new as well. When it was published, 2023, so yeah, only a couple of years old. So excited to try this one out and see if I find a new favorite author somehow. So I'll try that one sometime as well. And this is the middle grade one that I talked about. This is City of Ghosts by V.E. Schwab. I wanted to read this as well. My son had just read this one. He actually really enjoyed it. He was getting more involved into the more thriller, mystery, horror kind of books as well. He adores fantasy, you know, dragons and such. But so he's read this one. So I gotta get the other ones for him because I think there's like 3 books in this one. This is where she can see ghosts kind of a thing, and that mediated series by Meg Cabot is like one of my all-time favorites, so this kind of gave me that similar vibe, and so definitely want to read this, and kind of be able to might just read this together with my son too as well. So maybe he's a rereader, so he'll reread with me again. And found a romance, a contemporary romance. I think these are a collection, so a lot of novellas together, called Love to Loathe You. I've read the Love Hypothesis and I just need to continue on. She's a light romance, you know, light romance, kind of spicy times to read. Definitely want to continue reading her books. Who knows if I'll keep them, but they're definitely a lot of fun and to read, and picking them up when I can. And then another one is a proper romance. It's called A Lady in Disguise. This seems to have like more of like a historical mystery as well. It is a it says it's fans of a historical Victorian and Gothic romance will feel right at home in these tightly spun, suspenseful pages. Highly recommend. So yeah, enough said. That's probably what spoke out to me, was a Gothic romance and Victorian. So that's one of my favorite time periods too as well to read about, is Victorian as well. So excited for that. And I found a fantasy, I think it's just a regular fantasy or fantasy romance. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is Song of the Forever Rains by E.J. Mello. I think Becky mentioned that she really enjoyed this one, so definitely want to check this one out. And then the rest look to be mainly the historical romances. I have My One True Highlander by Susan Enoch. I have The Viscount Who Vexed Me by Julia London. Then I have The Princess by Elizabeth Elliot. And then Lady of Sin by Madeline Hunter. I think is that one. And then, of course, Louisa James, Pleasure for Pleasure. Definitely trying to read her backlist. A lot of faves from her. I think I read most of her Duchess series, but I haven't, like, Desperate Duchess series, but I don't think I read too much in the other ones besides like her newer ones I've been reading. But I'm not as fan as her newer things right now lately, but definitely want to read her backlist for sure. Then we have Heart of Courage by Kat Martin. I have that. And then Say Yes to the Princess by Cheris Michaels. And then Highland Scandal by Julia London. I really like this little peekaboo, like, step back part cover kind of a thing. So I got a Highland romance. Then we have About a Rogue by Caroline Linden. And then by Winter's Light, Stephanie Lawrence, a Censors novel. Literally, I'm just collecting all the Censors novel because I will trying to collect them all so I can binge them as well. So starting to read those ones as well. You know how it is. And then I have a few like new releases that I picked up. Yeah, pick that one up. I had picked up the standard edition, but then I also actually picked up the, decided I liked the, Get in the Match, the, sprayed edges and things like that. I picked up a Dire Bound and Fury Bound. So we have that. So I had to read that. It's like basically Fourth Wing with wolves apparently. And I know I love Fourth Wing. I definitely want to read this series this year, and get caught up. As well as this series, Rites of the Starling, Daphne Perry. So this is a new one with the sprayed edge. So definitely going to be reading, I think I'm going to start the first one, Shield of Sparrows, in June. Getting started to read that. And then I'm also trying to continue series as well. So it's just a never-ending problem. I mean, reader problems, right? Then I have a book that I won from one of the Goodreads giveaway. It only came in. It took way after the release date. I feel like it's almost 3 weeks or like a month after. But that is Deathly Fates by Tessia Sai. I still want to read them. I also want to read the other Queen of Faces one that I won too as well earlier in the year. So those are still on my to-do list and will be part of like still keeping as a spinner wheel for when the mood strikes. I want to really enjoy these ones when I read them, so gotta be in the mood and such. So yeah, it says Bound by Death, Marked by Love. I think he's like a death god kind of like thing. And then I picked up, discovered a really cool thing at a library sale. Separate time was the whole hardback covers of the Kingdom of the Wicked series. I forget what it's called exactly, but it's book 1 here, which is Kingdom of the Wicked. Kingdom of the Cursed, I think, is the second one. Yeah. And then we have in Barnes & Noble edition of the Kingdom of the Feared. So I own these in paperback, and I read the first one, so I want to continue on to read it. But in the adult versions of The Throne of the Fallen, which is like the sister series after that, I have all those in hardcover. And truly, the middle to last of these were basically very spicy. So they've been marketed as young adult, but they're really not, apparently. So they're actually probably should be considered adult. So I wanted them to match because I have my library to match, and I found that. So I just took advantage of the opportunity when I saw these at the library sale. Okay, and this next one is from, this other one I forgot is also from a library sale, So Speaks the Heart by Joyce Carlo. And then the remaining here are from, I think I found this this is at the independent bookstore that I went to on Independent Bookstore Day. It was April 28th. In this whole series. So I got a bunch of Johanna Lindsay's. And they might have gotten mixed up with something else, but I don't think I organized this right. Yeah, I'm not sure where they're all at, but I think I got a couple more Johanna Lindsay's. So basically, most of the Johanna Lindsay's I have in the hardcover I was able to find in the mass market, so I can unhaul the hardcovers, and you probably saw that in my unhaul. But I was able to get the mass markets for those. So I have a few here, but I don't know where the other couple ones that I had are at. They're in this whole mix of books when I'm trying to reorg. But here, neither here nor there, I have Love Me Forever by Johanna Lindsay. I think I had a hardcover of this one, so I was able to get the mass market there. Savage Thunder by Johanna Lindsay. So Speaks the Heart. This was a really cool find. The Pursuit with a Step Back. And then I found, this was part of like a pack together, so I had to like purchase it. So a couple of these are duplicates, but I'll be able to like just unhaul the other one. This Come the Spring. Then we have the 3 here, which is 1 red rose, 1 white rose, and 1 pink rose. So this is like her Western. I loved this whole series when I read it way back when. So I'm excited to reread these sometimes. Again, I want to do my Julia Garwood binge because I know that's probably going to come soon because I want to complete some of those series from her. And then I found The Seduction by Nicole Jordan. I know the Historical Hellions did this book, I think, for one of their book club books, but I was really intrigued by this one. I didn't get a chance to read it by the time that it happened. I did find a copy or a copy in my library, ironically. I wanted to be able to read this one. Sounded like it was really fun, or sounds really good. It sounds like it was well received, so I definitely want to read that one and try it out. And then I found some OG vintage ones, which is A Moonstruck Madness by Laurie McBain. I heard this one from Kirsty Reads a Lot. Really delving into some of the vintage ones. I think it's a gothic romance, I think. And then another one by Laurie McBain, which is Devil's Desire as well. So I definitely want to try these out. So yeah, really cool. I think that's it. Like I said, literally half of these were historical romances, so that's why it seems like a lot, but it's all historical romance. So it takes up a lot of space. But yeah, also unhauling a lot, but yeah, that is all of them. So the next one that you'll see, I don't know if you saw, I don't know if I'm repeating myself, but like if I have an unhaul before this or after this, I don't remember the timing when I'm going to be posting which when, but I do know after this I will have another book haul just for the month of May for my birthday and all stuff for that, and then also for anything for the book con in June. So yeah, so that's it. Let me know if you've read any of these and that you really enjoyed, or anything that you add to your TBR. I would love to know. Alright, as always, I will have my links down in the description box, my Instagram, my Goodreads, and my bookish wish list. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell to be notified. I can't remember. I'm losing my words, right? Hit that bell to be notified every time I post. And with that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.